Vale in northwest London. A friend and I stayed here for a week. We lived on the street, in a small but comfy flat. We needed to get around, but the streets are very confusing, so we chose to take the tube. Luckily, the Maida Vale station is just around the corner from where we were staying. The station is on the Bakerloo line, which runs right through central London. First stop, Baker Street, the home of 221B Baker Street, the fictional address of Sherlock Holmes. A must-see for me as a devout Sherlock Holmes fan. I couldn't shoot the whole room inside because it was too crowded. But that's his desk, hat, pipe, his violin perhaps, and where he could have been sleeping had he been real. It's good fun. Piccadilly Circus is both a major intersection and a public space. It looks a little bit like San Francisco's Market Street and Times Square kind of rolled into one. The street performers were wonderful. That's a real person. Yes, those are Hare Krishnas. They're still around. It was fun watching people having fun. I was delighted to see a Swiss glockenspiel in the middle of London. Piccadilly Circus at night does remind me of Times Square. Charing Cross opens up to Trafalgar Square in the center of London. It's a public place with lots of statues and a beautiful fountain. The fountain was placed there, I'm quoting Wikipedia now, to reduce the open space available and the risk of riotous assembly. That's the National Gallery in the background. Nobody rioting here today. A boat cruise down the Thames is a nice way to see the city. That's the County Hall, which houses an aquarium, museums, a hotel, and restaurants. And right next to it, that big Ferris wheel is the London Eye. It's 443 feet tall, the tallest in Europe. I couldn't go up on it that day, but I went up the next. I had to shoot through the rain. That's the Parliament building to the right. Everybody recognizes Big Ben. But Big Ben is actually not the name of the tower, it's the name of the bell inside the tower. That's the iconic Tower Bridge, not to be confused with the London Bridge. Speaking of towers, this is the Tower of London. I've always been fascinated by it. It's so old and has such a dark and violent history. You can see the White Tower Castle in this shot. It was built first in 1078 by William the Conqueror. The fortifications around it were built a couple of centuries later. On to Spitalfields. The name is a contraction of hospital fields. My maternal grandfather immigrated from here, so of course I had to go see it. I found it a very colorful and artistic area. The old Spitalfields Market is famous and very old. There has been a market here ever since 1638. I found this sign not too far from the market. And around it there were lots of people just hanging out on the curb, enjoying a beer, and generally enjoying the day. Spitalfields is justly famous for its artistic graffiti. There are even graffiti workshops. You can find a lot more examples of Spitalfields graffiti on the internet. The sun was especially welcome. It had been overcast or raining all week. Typical English weather, I'm told. That's it. Time to go. Thanks, London. I had a great time.